Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is October the 3rd, 2023. Hopefully, this episode finds you well in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Today treated me very well. Let's see here. I, did the work thing. That was nice. I was told earlier in the day, it's like, oh, we have to do a meeting in the conference room. I was one of the people who had to go for it. It was essentially like an hour and some change, just watching like work video stuff. And so I was like, oh, that's gonna be hella boring, but that's all right. I get to sit on my duff. So that was nice. I got an extra bag of chips, so food corner, spicy nacho Doritos were on the menu, along with the Cheetos Puffs. Ooh, we were eating good in the break room with a nos to finish it off. Nice and crispy. Let's see here. Anything else to really report? No, like I said, everything was like hunky dory casual. No one really bothered me, which was nice. I like when I get to just be my little box troll self, alone, unbothered, moisturized, in my lane. So yeah, which leads us to now where we are, about to get ready to talk about some news. So let me go ahead and take my start up and then we'll get into that. All right, all right, all right. Let me pull up this news. Okay, I gotta start off with some actual old news first, so I won't, hopefully keep it too long here today. But let's start here from PBS. Oh gosh, Trudeau apologizes for recognition of Nazi unit war veteran in Canadian Parliament. What a fucking doozy! This is some shit I missed last week. I heard the story. I recognized that it was a story. And I don't know, for just a slew of reasons, I did not cover it. And I was listening to Chapo Trap House this morning. Glad they're back. And they mentioned it in a little rundown. I was like, oh my God, I have to talk about this. Yeah, let's just run it real quick. So, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau apologized Wednesday for Parliament's recognition of a man who fought alongside the Nazis during last week's address by Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky. So yeah, he was, in the area doing his thing, doing a little like presser, showing, giving thanks, but asking for support, all that. But just after Zelensky delivered an address in the House of Commons on Friday, Canadian lawmakers gave 98-year-old Yaroslav Hunka a standing ovation when Speaker Anthony Rota drew attention to him. Rota introduced Hunka as a war hero who fought for the 1st Ukrainian Division. But observers over the weekend began to publicize the fact that the 1st Ukrainian Division was also known as the Waffen SS Galicia, or I'm assuming it's Galicia Division, or the SS 14 Waffen Division, a voluntary unit that was under the command of the Nazis. So these motherfuckers are just happy to do it for, motherfucking Hitler. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me that happens. This guy then winds up in Canada, and then this speaker is like, oh yeah, you know what, while we're on the subject of Ukrainians and like the cool, good shit they've done, let's bring up this guy. Yeah, he was a fighter for Ukraine. Bruh. Like, this is just bad. It's bad egg on your face. I've seen and heard some people try to spin this, which I'm like, why? Like, you do realize in spinning this in any kind of way, it feels like you're running defense for Nazis. That's weird. That's kind of cringe. I know Trudeau, or the Rhoda guy, he's done. He's gone. Axed. But more or less, Trudeau tried to say, hey, this is an accident, an error. But we shouldn't let here it is. Let me just say it from his mouth. It is extremely troubling to think that this egregious error is being politicized by Russia and its supporters to provide false propaganda about what Ukraine is fighting for. Well, dog, it's just crazy. It's just crazy that we keep hitting these notes again and again, and it's not hard. It's not like Russia's curving the bullet on this shit. Like, there are literally pictures of, like, Time magazine where you see, like, hey, here's this battalion in Ukraine, and you see this guy's patch, and it's like, bro, like, that is a pro-Nazi patch, and just do your fucking research. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, I don't know. At the end of the day, this is just one of those things where you just gotta take the L, I say. You guys fucked up. You didn't fucking Google this man. You didn't do your true due diligence. And you move on, like I'm about to do right now. Because like I said, I was supposed to be quick about this, and I'm lingering. All right, let's go ahead and hit the next thing from Al Jazeera. Thailand's Bangkok mall shooting. 2 dead. Suspect arrested at Siam Paragon. Siam Paragon is this, like, I think, big popular mall in Bangkok. Let's see. Police in Thailand say they have arrested a teenage suspected gunman after a deadly shooting at an upscale shopping center in the capital, Bangkok. Emergency services said on Tuesday evening that at least 2 people had been killed in the incident at Siam Paragon Mall, correcting an earlier statement that 3 people had died. It added 6 people had been wounded in total, 5 of those critically. Let's see. Major Thai media said the suspected gunman was 14 years old, though recently appointed Chief Torzak Suvikmol confirmed only that he is a minor and appeared to be suffering from mental illness. And there was no information yet on the motive of the attack. I believe that most of it took place on the first floor of the mall. And, the guy came in and, started shooting. People, took cover. I believe at least one of the people is known to be a foreign national who was Chinese. I don't know about the other one. I heard from one report that it was 2 foreigners, but when I just read here that it was just 1 Chinese person confirmed. So I don't want to overstate there. But the Central Investigation Bureau had earlier posted a grainy image on its Facebook page of an individual they said was a gunman dressed in khaki cargo pants and a baseball cap. I believe he had a handgun of some sort. And now shootings are not uncommon in Thailand, but mass shootings are rare. Let's see. They do reference a story we covered earlier in the year, or was this? Oh wow, yeah, gosh, no, I'm thinking of another incident. My bad, we didn't cover this one. But a former police officer killed in 2020 or killed 22 children in a nursery last. Oh no, that is what I covered. I'm reading wrong. We did cover this earlier in the year. A former police officer killed 20... I should not be laughing. I'm sorry. A former police officer killed 22 children in a nursery last year during a gun and knife attack, while in 2020, a soldier shot and killed at least 29 people and wounded 57 in a rampage that spanned 4 locations in and around in the northeastern Thai city of Nakhon Ratchasima. All right. Let's go on and move to the next thing. Let's go to the States. Got some business in D.C. We're back in Congress. We're back to the chaos. All right, let's get into it. From Yahoo News, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy ousted from leadership role in historic vote. Here's what to know. Now, I'm not going to say that this was surprising to me that it happened, but I'm surprised in the sense that it happened so fast. We really are making history here in the sense of, like, Matt Gaetz was talking that good shit. I thought he was talking that slick shit. And he even kind of hinted, he's like, look, I'm going to actually need the Democrats to make this work, most likely. But I do think I have the numbers to make it happen. It turns out he really did mean to do this. And he's like, look, I'm saying you're not fit to do this shit. I'm making the motion to vacate. And, he pitched this to the Democrats. And the Democrats are like, well, Kevin, you're not our guy. I've talked about this before. Like, you made this deal for us to, like, do this little stopgap for 45 days. But at the end of the day, you're also trying to impeach Joe Biden. Like, you're not coming to us with anything else. And on this situation, he didn't come to them. Which makes sense because that's part of Kevin Gates, or I fused their name. Oh my God, Kevin Gates. They fused. Matt Gates' beef is that, look, Kevin is just making deal after deal after deal. He's eating his fucking lunch every time he goes to negotiate. And we told him we don't want to negotiate with the other side, which to me is fucking crazy, right? Like, this is in no way me being pro Matt Gates here. Alleged pedophile, which it's crazy he fucking beat that shit. But, here we are. He's being the most Florida man he can, causing the most drama. And at the end of the day, the Democrats say, hey, we're not standing to benefit anymore here. So, yeah, go ahead. Get him out of here. And, yeah, like, it just happened so quick. I expected him to make the statement, and then I thought he was going to fight for it. But essentially, it's just the order is a little different. So, where we stand now is there is maybe a potential, like, Kevin McCarthy wrote a slew of people to be the interim speaker, but they won't have any power outside of just overseeing who's going to be the speaker. So essentially, we are just going back into garbage time, wasting time, doing nothing. Nothing is getting done in Congress yet again. No fucking surprises, but at least it's interesting. At least you can get your fucking popcorn out. And we'll see if maybe Kevin McCarthy can get a spot back, because essentially that's the situation at hand. He's going to go back for it. He's such a slut for the speakership. He needs that gavel. Oh, this is literally the culmination of his whole career. Like, he would just do anything to keep this shit. But, I will give him moxie over the weekend, throughout these whole proceedings. He's been like, hey, I see Gates over there. He's talking that shit still. Fine, whatever. Bring it on. He said that on social media, like, bring it. And Gates did, and it looks like he's keeping a brave face, McCarthy is, and, we'll see how it is, see how things shake out. But it's so funny. It's so fucking funny, because Gates is just saying that, like, Kevin McCarthy's so chaotic, he's so bad for the Republican, leadership, but what he is inciting here, what he is making happen is just making Republicans in the House look like fucking buffoons. It's just showing that, look, do you want to see why nothing is getting done in Congress? Look no further than what these alt-right, ultra-conservative Republicans are doing right now. These, like, 8 or 9, this little cluster of motherfuckers are just having their way with this whole fucking process and getting nothing done for it. So yeah, because to me, don't get me wrong, I'm not pro McCarthy here at all. But at least he was smart enough to say, look, we are careening towards a fucking shutdown. If people in my party want to be babies and not try to get along here, well, I'll show them how it's done. And you at least work across the aisle. And you at least say, hey, let's make some fucking concessions. Let's get along to get along. And I mean, I think it is further alleged that it's like, hey, not only, like, sure, you took out the Ukrainian spending on this part of the 45 days, but you also are telling them that you're going to put it in the long run. Okay, sure, whatever, fine. But, like, that's like, no, that's a no-go for Matt Gaetz. That's a no-go for these, like, 8 or so motherfuckers. They truly do not want to work with the other side at all. They look at that as a loss. They say, oh, our constituents don't want that. We don't want that. I don't know. I just think it's funny. I think it's interesting fucking news. So, yeah, that's more or less my summary of it. Feel free to, look that up, and I would love to talk about this. I love talking about this. I was joking with my friend the other week. We were talking about the shutdown, and I just was like, I don't even think, like, at that point I was like, just let it fucking happen at this point, because I'm sick of these motherfuckers just talking about the shit. But then, of course, I really did think about it, and I was like, yeah, no, but then people are gonna lose their jobs, or not lose their jobs, but just not make money. That'd be fucking shitty. And I'm glad that they didn't. But yeah, it's funny that, like, Kevin McCarthy is, like, literally being penalized for that. But hey, can't do nothing, right? What can I say? What can you say? Alrighty. Let's move on to the next bit. From NBC News. Chipotle sued after former Muslim employee alleges manager ripped off her hijab at Kansas location. A federal agency has sued Chipotle claiming religious harassment on behalf of a Muslim former employee who alleges an assistant manager ripped off her job at a Kansas location. The lawsuit, which the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission filed Wednesday in a U.S. District Court in Kansas, claims that Arij Saifan was harassed by an assistant manager who several weeks continually asked her to remove her hijab and show him her hair, even though she explained that his requests were inappropriate. The harassment culminated in the assistant managers grabbing and partially removing Saifan's hijab, exposing her hair, the document says. The assistant manager couldn't be reached for comment, and it's not clear whether has I feel like they're trying to take out the gender, but I mean it said that it's a guy. Whether has legal representation. The harassment was alleged to have started in early July of 2021 at a Chipotle at Sena, 20 minutes from Kansas City, Missouri. And Saifan was 19 years old. Now, I'll do a little summarization here. Essentially, this assistant manager really, really wanted to see what was under the hijab, which is dude, which the person explains what you're doing is not okay. It is literally against my religion, against who I am, to show that no, I'm not showing you, that's not what I do. And he just took this as some kind of taboo that he could just break, and he just was constantly harassing her, asking her in front of other people, hey, take it off, let me see your hair, oh, it's no big deal. And she's constantly saying no, and then she takes it to her shift manager, and the shift manager asks the assistant manager to stop, but it is said in the lawsuit that he breaches Chipotle policy by then not taking it up to higher management. Which I'm this is such a story, a fitting story for me today, because I'm literally listening to this kind of shit in my my little work thing, saying, hey, this is the kind of harassment that it's not okay, and if this happens, then yeah, you gotta go to HR, you gotta. But I mean, in this situation, you go to your manager, and then they're supposed to go to higher ups. I also would imagine that maybe you could call HR or things of that nature. I don't, hopefully that's effective. But at the end of the day, you take this to your higher ups are definitely supposed to be handling it. And in this situation, they just said, oh, well, I'll talk to the manager and we'll sort this out. And essentially, it was not sorted. Let's fast forward to August 9th of 2021. The assistant manager allegedly advanced on Saifan, reached out, grabbed her hijab, and yanked, causing part of it to come off and her hair to be exposed. The shift manager, Saifan, had complained to witnessed the incident, according to the lawsuit. Saifan reported the assistant manager's behavior to the store's field manager and store manager before she resigned the next day as a result of harassment and management's failure to address it. Which makes sense, because at the end of the day, there were multiple moments here where management should have stepped in with this assistant manager and handled it properly, instead of just slapping this motherfucker on the wrist and being hey man, you gotta stop, man, chill out, just relax, dog. No, now their defense is hey, we did fire the assistant manager soon after. Let's see here, I think I'm skipping ahead. He had a consensual, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission alleges that the assistant manager was fired on August 20th of 2021, not for the harassment he subjected to Saifan, but for having had a consensual relationship with another employee against company policy. The assistant manager continued to work at the same location until he was fired. So it doesn't seem like that actually helps at all. Let's see here. Chipotle's engaged and hardworking employees are what makes us great, and we encourage our employees to contact us immediately through okay, so this is them trying to kind of cover their ass, I imagine, with the 800 number thing, which is kind of something I referenced earlier. That was from Lori Shaklau. I didn't really feel like finishing her quote. Didn't matter. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely with Saifan on this shit. At the end of the day, you just want to come to work and do your job. At the end of the day, the way you live your life, how you choose to live it, that's fine. And you have religious protections for that kind of shit. And this assistant manager completely violated it. So that's just crazy to me that the behavior was called out, addressed, but not addressed properly by upper management, and allowed to fester. Also, I guess I should add this. The agency also requests that Chipotle compensate Siphon for financial losses, as well as non-financial ones, such as emotional distress, in an amount to be determined at trial. She also says that like she put in her 2 weeks, but then they didn't schedule her for the remaining 2 weeks. Honestly, I say get your bag on that. I know me personally, I waffle. It depends on where you're at in life, right? Like if you really do need the money, then it's like, damn, no, I'm putting my 2 weeks in, but I need to like have this in a transition for my next job. But if it's a traumatic situation for me, or I just really don't want to fucking be at a job, please don't schedule me. Like after I put in my 2 weeks, I'm gone. But at the same time, once again, if this is traumatic, get your bag. No, you owe me for every single fucking day on those 2 weeks. Fuck you. Yeah, I'm a big advocate for that kind of shit. All right, we have one more thing to cover before I let you go. You know what that means? I'm gonna take my break. Okay. Ooh-wee. Sooey. From the Associated Press. 9-year-old who vanished from New York State Park found safe and man linked to ransom note arrested. So we have a good update. We are ending on some good news. Let's go. A 9-year-old girl who vanished during a family camping trip in upstate New York was safe and in good health Monday after a massive 2-day search ended with her rescue and the arrest of the person suspected in her abduction. Charlotte Sena disappeared while riding her bike early Saturday evening at Moreau Lake State Park, a heavily wooded area some 35 miles or 60 kilometers north of Albany. Let's see here. Governor Kathy Hochul said Monday night during a news conference that investigators were able to identify a fingerprint from a ransom note allegedly left by the suspect she identified as Craig Nelson Ross Jr., 47 years old. So this guy got bagged. Let me go ahead and read what I highlighted here. After some resistance, the suspect was taken into custody, and immediately the little girl was found in a cabinet, Hochul said. She knew she was being rescued. She knew she was in safe hands. Once again, this is like out of a fucking SVU episode. Like, I don't know. Maybe I had this thought earlier and I'm just saying this out loud. But like, that was just crazy. They found her in a cabinet. He put her in a cabinet. That's so wild to me. But they took her to the hospital. They said she was, in good health. So that was good to hear. It's crazy that this motherfucker left a ransom note. Like this motherfucker had like a scheme attached to this fucking evil that he was. I don't even want to like fuck, man. Jesus shit. Like it was just. I'm just glad this was wrapped up very quickly and safely and good. You know what I mean? I just could not. Excuse me. I could not wait to bring the story because I'm like, yay, fucking good news. Let's see here. Yeah, that's it. That's it. We made it to the end. I'll call it quits there. Oh, and we made good time too. I love it. We love to see it. I got to move into shill mode. Patreon.com/news. If you'd like to support the effort, we are officially ad free as of this week. So, every dollar counts. I do shout you out on the podcast once a month. I say your name and I plug a project thing you're doing if you'd like. And then let's see here. Free ways to hit me up. IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. And then let's see here. I am on all of the socials if you'd like to find me or the podcast there. Also, please subscribe to the YouTube if you haven't yet. Every subscription counts. Another way to try to get monetized. You feel me? Thumbs up. all the positive reviews, all the stars. Please leave those. Thank you so much. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.